about a virtual academy, algebra, proficiency exam, SAT, ACT. Which quadratic equation has solutions of 5 and 7? Okay? And there are many ways in which you can solve this problem. One way would be to say that, if 5 and 7 are solutions, x has to be equal to 5 and x has to be equal to 7, right? Which means if in the first one you take away 5 from both sides, you have x minus 5 equals 0, and in the second one you have x minus 7 equals 0, okay? Which give you the possible factors of any one of these options in here, whichever is the right one, should have as factors x minus 5 and x minus 7. So your trinomial, the right answer in here, should be x minus 5 times x minus 7. And because we're dealing with an equation, that should be equal to 0. And all you have to do next would be to FOIL this two, right? You're multiplying the first terms, which is x times x, gives you x squared. Then the outer terms, which is what? X times negative 7, which gives you negative 7x. The inner terms, right? Negative 5 times x, negative 5x. And the last terms, negative 5 times negative 7, which will be positive 35, equals 0. So your trinomial now has to be x squared minus 7x minus 5x will be minus 12x plus 35. That should be equal to 0. Okay? Which one is identical to this one? D. And you are done. Okay? This is one way in which you can solve this problem. Another way will be to take each one of the answers here, right, of the options, and find which one of them has, 5 and 7 as solutions. Let's try it that way. And I will start with A, right? X squared x squared minus 5x equals 0. Looking for common factors, x and x squared, 5x, right? We have x as a common factor. Will be x times x minus 5 equals 0. Well, although we have x equals 5 as one of the solutions for this equation, the other one would be x equals 0, so this is not good. A, not a good answer, right? Moving on to B, x squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0. X squared minus 2x minus 35 equals 0. And to solve it, as usual, you can, look for common factors. There is none. You should check if this one is a perfect square, and is not. Then try to factor it, and this is factorable. Okay, I will have x as the first term in each one of them because they multiply to x squared, right? Because the last term here is negative 35, I will have 1x plus 1x minus. But because, this has to be equal to 0, because of that, regardless what I'm going to find here as the, last term in each one of the binomial, they will have different signs. And that's not good because I need to have both positive, so they should be x minus, which tells me that this is not good. B is not a good answer. By the same reasoning, C will not be a good answer because the last term is negative, which tells me that the roots, those two roots will have different signs, and it's not good. And obviously, the last one here, okay, will have two factors starting with x as the first term, which both could be positive or negative, right, as in signs, but most likely they will be negative. I mean, I know exactly that they're going to be negative because the middle term is a negative one. It will be x minus something, right? Those two numbers should multiply to 35, and they should add up to negative 12, okay? And we know that we're looking for negative 5 and negative 7, which if you add gives you negative 12, and if you multiply gives you 35. And these are the answer. X minus 5, x minus 7 equals 0, which definitely hold the two roots, 5 and 7, and this is the way I have to solve. I mean, this is another way in which you can solve, okay? The right answer will be D, x squared minus 12x plus 35 will have 5 and 7 as solutions.